The fallen sparrow rain pelted the windows of Global Communications' 40th floor conference room as Olivia Chen stood frozen, the words of CEO Gerald Whitman slicing through her like glass. Your mistranslation cost us the Tanaka contract and $7 million. You're fired, effective immediately. 20 pairs of eyes watched her. Executives, board members, and one visitor, a tall man with thoughtful eyes who'd been introduced as Liam Parker of Parker Innovations. Olivia clutched her tablet, knuckles white. Sir, there must be a mistake. I triple-checked that translation. Her voice remained steady despite the earthquake in her chest. 6 years at Global, working her way up from intern to senior translator, destroyed in 60 seconds. Security will escort you out, Whitman continued as if she hadn't spoken. The evidence is irrefutable. Olivia scanned the room, finding not one sympathetic face, except, strangely, that of Parker, who studied her with an intensity that seemed out of place. She straightened her shoulders, placed her company badge on the table, and walked out without another word, dignity intact, though her future had just collapsed. In the elevator, she finally allowed tears to blur her vision. Her younger brother's college tuition, the apartment they shared, their mother's medical bills, all dependent on a job that no longer existed. By the time she reached the lobby, she had wiped her eyes and composed a mental list of employment agencies to contact. The rain had intensified when she reached Bryant Park 2 blocks away. She sat beneath a dripping awning, scrolling through job listings on her phone, trying to ignore the creeping dread. No one would hire a translator fired for incompetence. Is this seat taken? She looked up to find Liam Parker standing there, raindrops glistening on his dark coat. Up close, his eyes were the color of amber, warm against his olive complexion. Mr. Parker? She straightened, professional instinct taking over. I'm sorry you witnessed that scene. He sat beside her, seemingly unconcerned about the dampness. I'm not. It was educational. Educational? A bitter laugh escaped her. On how careers implode? On recognizing integrity when I see it. He turned to face her fully. The Tanaka contract, I reviewed it last month when Parker was considering a partnership with them. There was an inconsistency in Clause 17.3 regarding patent protections. Olivia's breath caught. That's exactly where Whitman claims I mistranslated. Interesting. Liam studied her. Ms. Chen, my company is expanding our Asia-Pacific division. We need someone who understands both language and cultural nuance. Someone uncompromising. You're offering me a job? She blinked in disbelief. You don't even know me. I know enough. He handed her a business card. I believe in second chances, Ms. Chen. More importantly, I believe you didn't make a mistake. Why would you risk hiring someone who just got fired for incompetence? A smile touched his lips. Because your eyes never showed guilt, only shock and resolve. That tells me everything I need to know. He stood, buttoning his coat. Monday, 9 a.m. if you're interested. As he walked away, Olivia stared at the card in her hand, rain droplets blurring the embossed letters. For the first time that day, she felt something like hope rising within her. Whispers behind glass walls. Parker Innovations occupied a renovated industrial building in Brooklyn, all exposed brick and glass dividers, transparent yet imposing, much like its founder. Olivia smoothed her navy blazer as the elevator ascended to the 5th floor. You must be Olivia, greeted a woman with cropped silver hair. I'm Diana, head of operations. Liam said you'd be joining us. Her smile seemed genuine, but her eyes held calculation. Let's get you set up. As Diana led her through the open workspace, Olivia caught fragments of whispers. From Global, heard she cost them millions. Wonder what she did to convince Parker. Olivia kept her gaze forward, chin lifted slightly. She'd anticipated this. Her workspace overlooked the East River, the Manhattan skyline gleaming across the water. As she organized her desk, a tall man with rectangular glasses approached. Julian Mercer, lead project manager. He introduced himself curtly. Liam's assigned you to the Kimura partnership. Their representatives arrive next week from Tokyo. We need all materials translated and culturally adapted by Thursday. He dropped a thick folder on her desk. Prove your worth quickly or don't unpack. Before she could respond, Liam appeared. "Julian, I see you're welcoming our newest team member with your trademark warmth." His tone was light, but his eyes conveyed warning. Julian nodded stiffly and retreated. Liam turned to Olivia. "Ignore him. He applied for the Director of International Relations position I'm considering you for." "Director?" Olivia's eyes widened. "Mr. Parker, I appreciate your confidence, but—" "Liam, please. And I don't give titles without testing capabilities first. The Kimura partnership is critical. They're innovators in sustainable technology. Impress me with this, and we'll discuss advancement." He paused, studying her. "You look worried. Everyone here thinks I'm either incompetent or—" She hesitated. "Or sleeping with the boss?" His directness startled her. "They'll learn otherwise soon enough. Excellence speaks for itself." For the next week, Olivia worked tirelessly, translating technical specifications, cultural context briefings, and negotiation frameworks. She stayed late each evening, the office gradually emptying until only the cleaning staff remained. On Thursday night, she was adding final notes to the presentation when footsteps approached. Liam appeared with 2 containers of takeout. "You need to eat," he placed one before her. "And I need your perspective on something." Over noodles, he asked about her background. Tentatively, Olivia described growing up in Queens with parents who had emigrated from Taiwan, working multiple jobs to support her and her brother, James. "They passed away 3 years ago," she said softly. "Car accident. James was 17, just starting college applications. I became his guardian." Liam's expression softened. "That explains your resilience. My parents died when I was 19, hiking accident in Colorado. I understand sudden responsibility." "Is that why you built this company? To prove something?" He considered this. "Perhaps initially. Now it's about creating something meaningful." He gestured to her work. "What do you think of the Kimura approach?" "Honestly, it's technically correct but culturally tone-deaf. Japanese business relationships are built on mutual respect and long-term vision. This focuses too much on quarterly projections." Instead of defensiveness, Liam's face showed interest. "Show me what you'd change." They worked side by side until midnight, revising the strategy. When they finally finished, Liam walked her to the elevator. "Thank you for tonight," he said quietly. "For the translation and the conversation." As the elevator doors closed, Olivia realized something had shifted between them, a foundation laid for something she couldn't yet name but already valued. Trust in translation. The Kimura delegation arrived on a crisp Monday morning, 5 Japanese executives in impeccable suits. Olivia greeted them in flawless Japanese, bowing precisely to each according to rank. Mr. Kimura, the elderly founder, smiled appreciatively at her cultural awareness. Throughout the presentation, Olivia translated Liam's points with nuanced precision, occasionally adding culturally contextual explanations that bridged understanding. When Mr. Kimura asked a particularly complex question about intellectual property protections, she rendered both the literal translation and the underlying concern. Liam, catching her subtle guidance, adjusted his response accordingly. By afternoon, what had been scheduled as preliminary talks had evolved into detailed partnership discussions. As the Japanese executives left for their hotel, Mr. Kimura clasped Olivia's hands. "You honor both languages with your care," he said in Japanese. "Parker-san is fortunate to have found you." Later, celebrating with the team, Julian approached her. "I underestimated you," he admitted. "That was masterful work." Liam found her by the windows, away from the group. "The director position is yours if you want it. You earned it today." "Thank you," she said, genuine happiness warming her voice. "But I still don't understand why you took a chance on me that day in the park." "I recognize determination when I see it." His eyes held hers. "And perhaps I know what it's like to be misjudged." 2 weeks later, Olivia stayed late reviewing documents from Global that Diana had acquired through industry connections. Buried in the financial records was an email trail between Gerald Whitman and his deputy CEO, Marcus Reed. "The Tanaka deal threatens Reed's personal investment in their competitor," she explained when Liam joined her. "He deliberately altered my translation after submission but before the final meeting." Liam studied the evidence. "This explains everything. We can clear your name. It's not just about my reputation anymore. She hesitated. Marcus is negotiating to acquire shares in Parker Innovations. He's targeting you now. Let him try. Liam's jaw tightened. No one manipulates my company or the people I care about. The intensity in his voice made her look up. Their eyes met, and something electric passed between them. Olivia, he said softly, her name becoming a question on his lips. She wasn't sure who moved first. Perhaps they both did, drawn together like magnets finally released. His hand cupped her cheek, warm and steady against her skin. When their lips met, the sensation was both shocking and inevitable, like finding something she hadn't known she was searching for. He pulled back slightly, his forehead resting against hers. I've wanted to do that since you corrected my Japanese pronunciation last month. She laughed softly. That long? I've wanted to since you brought me soup when I was working through lunch last week. His thumb traced her cheekbone. We should probably discuss professional boundaries. Probably, she agreed, her fingers already threading through his hair as she pulled him back to her. Later, as they sat side by side reviewing the evidence against Marcus, their shoulders touching, Liam asked, Are you concerned about what the team will think? About us or about confronting Marcus? Both, I suppose. Olivia considered this. I spent 6 years at Global hiding my opinions, doubting my instincts because others questioned them. I won't do that again. Not about the work I know is right or the people I care about. Liam took her hand, his thumb tracing circles on her palm. Then we face him together. Neither of them noticed Diana standing in the doorway, watching with a smile before quietly departing. Some translations, she thought, needed no interpreter. The storm returns. Autumn painted Brooklyn in amber and crimson as Olivia and Liam's relationship deepened beyond the office walls. Weekends exploring hidden bookshops in Greenwich Village, quiet dinners at his apartment overlooking the water, late-night conversations about everything and nothing, a life she hadn't dared imagine 2 months earlier. At work, they maintained professional boundaries, though observant colleagues noticed the softening in Liam's demeanor, the way his eyes tracked her movement across a room. The partnership with Kimura had launched successfully, bringing acclaim to Parker Innovations and solidifying Olivia's position as Director of International Relations. The board is impressed, Diana told her as they reviewed quarterly projections. And not just with your work performance. She smiled knowingly. Olivia felt her cheeks warm. Is it that obvious? Only to those who know him well. I haven't seen Liam this genuinely happy since before his parents died. Their comfortable new reality shattered on a Tuesday morning when Olivia's phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. I know what you've stolen. Meet me at Riverside Cafe at noon or your career ends again, permanently. Marcus. Her hands trembled as she set down her phone. She hadn't stolen anything, but Marcus Reed's reputation for destroying opponents was legendary in corporate circles. She debated telling Liam but decided against it. This was her battle from before. At the cafe, Marcus sat waiting, impeccable in a charcoal suit that matched the coldness in his eyes. Ms. Chen, playing with the big boys now, I see. What do you want, Marcus? Her voice remained steady despite her racing heart. Straight to business. I've always appreciated that about you. He slid a folder across the table. Evidence that you stole proprietary global communications strategies before your termination. Enough to ruin you and, more importantly, damage Parker's reputation when it emerges he hired corporate espionage. Olivia examined the documents. Emails cleverly doctored, timestamps altered. This is fabricated. Doesn't matter. The investigation alone will devastate Parker Innovations at a critical moment. He leaned forward. Unless you convince Liam to sell his biotech division to Global at 30% below market value. You're insane. I'm pragmatic. You have 48 hours. He stood. Oh, and Olivia? If you tell Liam about our little chat, these documents go public immediately. Back at Parker Innovations, Olivia wrote her resignation letter with shaking hands. The biotech division was Liam's pride, his tribute to medical advances that might have saved his mother. She couldn't ask him to sacrifice it, but she also couldn't be the instrument of its destruction. Better to remove herself from the equation entirely. She placed the letter on his desk while he was in a board meeting and began clearing her workspace. "Were you going to leave without saying goodbye?" His voice from behind startled her. He held her resignation letter, face unreadable. "It's complicated, Liam." "Uncomplicate it for me." His tone was controlled, but hurt flickered in his eyes. "Marcus threatened to destroy both of us unless I help him acquire your biotech division below value." The words tumbled out despite her resolve. "He has falsified evidence claiming I conducted espionage." Instead of anger, Liam's expression showed profound relief. "Thank God." "What? I thought you were leaving because of us. Because you regretted us." She moved closer, touching his face. "Never that." His arms encircled her. "Then we fight him together. No more facing storms alone, Olivia. That's what we promised. He'll target everything you've built. Let him try." Liam's voice hardened. "We've been gathering evidence of his manipulation since your firing. Diana has a contact at the SEC who's very interested in Marcus's pattern of tanking deals that threaten his personal investments. You've been investigating him all this time. We protect our own at Parker." He tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. "And you, Olivia Chen, are very much mine if you want to be." She kissed him then, there in the office with the Manhattan skyline bearing witness. "I do," she whispered against his lips. "But how do we stop him?" Liam's smile held determination and something fiercer. "We translate his threats into justice." Languages of the heart cherry blossoms drifted across Parker Innovations' rooftop garden, where staff gathered for what had been announced as a partnership celebration. 6 months had passed since Marcus Reed's failed attempt to destroy Olivia and Liam's careers. 6 transformative months. Olivia smoothed her silk dress, remembering that rainy day in Bryant Park where everything had begun. Diana approached with 2 champagne flutes. "Nervous?" she asked, handing one to Olivia. "Strangely calm," Olivia replied, watching as Liam spoke with Mr. Kimura across the garden. "It feels like arriving somewhere I was always meant to be." The SEC investigation into Marcus had revealed extensive securities fraud spanning years. Global Communications had distanced themselves immediately, with Gerald Whitman publicly apologizing to Olivia for her wrongful termination. The press had covered the story extensively, transforming Olivia's professional humiliation into a redemption narrative that brought unexpected attention to Parker Innovations. Liam tapped a glass, drawing everyone's attention. "Thank you all for coming today. We're celebrating several milestones: our expanded partnership with Kimura Technologies, our new medical translation AI that will help patients worldwide communicate with healthcare providers, and most importantly, the courage that transforms setbacks into new beginnings." His eyes found Olivia's across the crowd. When I met Olivia Chen, she had just lost everything through no fault of her own. Yet she stood tall, maintaining her dignity when others would have crumbled. That strength attracted me first, but it was her compassion, brilliance, and unwavering integrity that made me fall in love with her. Murmurs rippled through the crowd as Olivia felt warmth rising to her cheeks. "In business, we talk about calculated risks," Liam continued. "But the most worthwhile risks are rarely calculated. They're leaps of faith based on recognizing something extraordinary." He extended his hand toward her. "Olivia, would you join me?" Heart pounding, she moved through the crowd to stand beside him. The afternoon sunlight caught the amber flecks in his eyes. "You taught me that real communication goes beyond words," he said softly. Though the garden had fallen so silent, everyone heard. "It exists in trust freely given, in second chances, in choosing to stand together when storms come." He reached into his pocket and knelt before her, holding a ring with a solitary diamond that caught the light like a teardrop of sun. Gasps and delighted murmurs swept through the gathering. "Olivia Chen, you translated my life from isolation to connection. Would you do me the extraordinary honor of becoming my wife, my partner, my home?" Tears blurred her vision as joy expanded in her chest, too vast to contain. "Yes," she whispered, then louder, "Yes." As he slipped the ring onto her finger and stood to embrace her, applause erupted around them. Mr. Kimura approached, bowing respectfully. There is a saying in Japanese, he said, smiling at the couple. Ichigo ichi-e, one time, one meeting. Each moment is unique and cannot be reproduced. You have honored the moment fate brought you together by creating something beautiful from it. Later, as twilight softened the Manhattan skyline, Liam and Olivia stood alone by the garden railing. His arm encircled her waist as cherry blossoms continued their gentle descent around them. I have something for you, he said, handing her a small wrapped package. Inside was a journal, hand-bound in soft leather. On the first page, in his handwriting, for all the stories yet to be translated. Our story began with words misinterpreted, he said, touching the ring on her finger. It seems fitting to ensure all our future chapters are written together, in a language only we fully understand. Olivia leaned into him, feeling the steady rhythm of his heart against her cheek. From shame to celebration, she mused. From isolation to belonging. From endings to beginnings, he added, tilting her face up to his. As their lips met beneath the cherry blossoms, Olivia thought of all the words across all languages that described love. None seemed adequate for this feeling, this profound translation from strangers to soulmates, this journey from a rain-soaked park bench to a future bright with promise. Some meanings, she realized, transcended language altogether. They existed in the spaces between words, in glances exchanged across crowded rooms, in hands reaching for each other in darkness, in the courage to follow a stranger when dignity was all you had left, in the wisdom to recognize across all barriers of circumstance and caution, your heart finding its way home.